Daddy or mommy?
David, you eat bread though.
Person wey campaign no win.
When are you making your next baby?
Eyes are your business. Like, yes. I know he's that. No, he's
When
not.
are you making your next baby? Tell us now.
I just tell you, drink water and mind your business.
What if I tell you I'm pregnant?
Well, I know you ain't.
Say zoo.
I just know you are not.
Babe, surprise. I decided to make this video so that you can be surprised.
There was once.
Hello guys, my name is Hayu Hadibai and I've been a father for about 3 years. I think 2 years and about 5 months or thereabout to be specific.
Hello guys, my name is Oluwaseun Oladapo and I had my first daughter in September 2021, so not too long ago. So I'm just about 20 months ish into this fatherhood journey of it.
My name is Kayo. By the special grace of God, I give all glory to God that I became a father in the year 1986. That was when I gave birth to my first son.
Well, to be honest, there are quite a lot of happy moments. Let's see. Okay, I think the first one that comes to mind actually was when we first got to know that we were pregnant, because we're not particularly trying to get pregnant, but if anything that we've come to learn early in life is that God gives gifts, and we know that everything that comes from God is a gift. So we took it as that. Early enough. So when we got to know that we were pregnant, it was it was a lot of feelings, mixed feelings, primarily happy feelings, but then it dawns on you that, wow, you're pregnant and you're gonna have a baby. that connotes a lot of responsibility, and it's something that you spend a whole lifetime coming to realize. Yeah, so it was quite an happy moment for me. The other time, a lot of moments, of course, when I first held my child in my arms, it was quite an emotional moment as well. A lot of happy moments. Of course, I'm lucky in the sense that she called Papa first before Mama, so yeah, I like to think that as a happy moment as well for me.
My happiest day as a father was on October 3rd, 1986, when my wife gave birth.
Well, that should be when David was born, October 15th. First time being a dad, right? That was an exciting moment.
It wasn't a funny experience. It was an experience that I witnessed once, and since then I decided not to witness anyone again. It was an experience that by then I was afraid. Being the first child, in fact, unconsciously, I was just moving around the building. It was a small bungalow, the heart of the town. I was just moving around the bungalow, praying that both the baby should be delivered live and that the mother should be alive. By the time the baby was born, and I saw the saw my first son. Happened to be for two reasons. You know, in Yoruba land, they normally pray that the first child to be a male. And born out to, by then there was no scan, so not nowadays where you can before the baby is born, you must have known the sex. So by then we were only relying on God to do what we prayed for, and we thank God that God answered that prayer. So by the time the child was delivered, and it happened to be a male child, oh, I was overwhelmed with joy. The first thing I did was that outside the building, when I heard the boys, they cry, the first cry of the baby, I knelt down openly, bow down, and I praised God. So it was I refer to it as my happiest day.
For us, because we had cesarean delivery, of course I was I wasn't in the theater, but I was awfully close enough. And because I'm privileged to be in the healthcare profession, and being a doctor myself, I've had a little experience with you know when people come around to deliver, especially when they have to have cesarean delivery. A lot of things go through your mind, even though you're a child of God, you've trusted everything, you're believing God, but then sometimes having more knowledge can even be like a burden. So you have a lot of things going through your mind, running through your mind, things that you can only bind and cast and cast the devil. But yeah, a lot of emotions were running through your mind. As a matter of fact, I was awfully close. So I wasn't in the theater, but I was like in the recovery area. So I was there. Okay, fine. I was like praying, speaking in tongues, and all of that. And I was fortunate enough that I had people around. I had like senior colleagues around, and I had like someone who was like my mentor around, and we're both speaking in tongues together. I remember I heard the baby cry. I heard our daughter cry, and it still did not dawn on me. I was so much. I can't remember what I was so focused on that it didn't really dawn on me that that's your baby crying. A lot of emotions, mostly joy, mostly gratitude, but yeah, a lot of emotions.
Yes, I was in a labor room. Yes, I was there. For all the hours, I was present. I needed everything to happen right before my face. And well, I was experienced. It wasn't bad actually. However, it's full of emotions at the same time. When you're seeing somebody you love in pains and you are helpless about it. It's not one condition you want to be. Maybe, I remember after David's birth, I said I was going to write a post on that, the pain I could not cure, right? It's one pain, but maybe I could not pray against. It was a necessity, kind of. Maybe I don't want it to be that prolonged. But then, yes, I was there. It wasn't so much of a bad experience. I labored as well. You need to see me that day. I labored as well. The experience, the feeling when David was born, it was a roller coaster of emotions. To be honest with you, I remember when David eventually came out, I cried. Why did I cry? I don't know. I think it was just quite emotional. All through the labor period, I didn't cry. I was very strong. Strong man, men don't cry. But then at that point, things happen in this life.
Wow, it's a tough question, really, because for me, you can't think of fatherhood without thinking of responsibility. And what I dread the most would be the fact that what you do or what you don't do affects this little human that has been committed in your hands, so to speak. So it's a lot of responsibility, because you're shaping the life of someone who is in turn going to shape the lives of many people. One has to be really, really careful, and then because what you do or what you don't do, affects the personality, affect the character, which will in turn affect the, well, if I use the word, destiny of someone. So it's a lot. It's what I dread really is not meeting up to the task. Well, I guess it's everyone that feels that way, but it just eats you in a certain way, to be honest.
Of course, I feel it's challenging having to raise a child, and of course, probably it's one thing I'm trusting God for, right? Don't say, well, you know the how to. It is God that grants the grace, and it's not a fear, first. It's just a responsibility. I'm trusting God to do so well. Yes.
Dread most of being a father, which I prayed against, but it happened. It was the day I lost my third male child. I dread it, but it happened. And I was so sad. And also, I referred to that day as my saddest day on earth, because I dread it and it happened.
What had made me feel guilty since David was born? Well, we had a few experiences here and there. Yeah, one of such would be when I mistakenly packed the wrong cooler, for him to school. He had brought, the leftover of what he ate the previous day home, and we didn't clean out that. And since he had two coolers as at then, I think he still have two now. So, we've packed the food for today, that day inside the other one, but then I'd mistakenly taken the one from the previous day with the food in it. So they were like, oh, the food, that was later in the day, they were like, the food you brought for this boy is spoiled. Oh, sorry about that, my bad, But then another one would be, there was this time he just was, he gave us a tough time over the night. He kept crying and crying and crying, and I was like, I've done everything to pacify you, boy, and I hate crying babies. I think I was a bit hungry that night, and it was only probably barely months old. I'm not sure it was one yet, but then I was angry. Like, I would just be crying, like, only for, I traveled that day, then eventually in the evening when I called, I was like, I was told that he at least he has temperature and showing symptoms of fever. So I felt bad, like, man, you misjudged this boy, right? Like, you were hungry for no cause in the morning. I think maybe those two would have really made me feel bad, like, you could have done that better. Right?
So I don't think I have any dad guilt, so to speak. Of course, there are always areas to improve on, but I really don't think so. I don't think I have any dad guilt.
The dad guilt that I remembered, that is being a father, that is what, there was the day my first son told me that his counterparts had gained admission to the university, that those who were not as intelligent as he was, their parents, which happens to be a friend, the father happens to be a friend of us, has taken him abroad to read medicine. That so when he said that, I felt so bad, that which means if I've gotten the money too, I will have sent him abroad. So I feel that it wasn't okay to take care of that child. I was not okay financially to take care of the child, to do what he wanted. That is, he was also expecting me to send him abroad. So I see it as a guilt. It was not okay like that, but I thank God that despite the fact that I I saw it as a gift. The child is a dental doctor. He has his own hospital. So I give glory to God.
My reflex answer to that question is being a father. Well, yeah, I do a lot of things. The mere fact that you have this, this little human being, growing up, looking up to you, imitating you, everything you do, and all of that. Yeah, it's something one really enjoys. I also, you know, the cuddles, the hugs. I particularly like when my daughter, especially when she has not seen myself and my wife now for a long time, she can be very cheerful when she sees us, and it's something that just fills my heart with so much gladness. Yeah, I really enjoy that. Of course, it been a lot of things. You just watch this little human being do things in their own wisdom, and you wonder, well, if it took more than none, anyways. So yeah, it's fun to watch, and it can be quite enjoyable.
Seeing the children that God has given to me, achieving or going to school, progressing in life, and achieving in life, and seeing them, I'm always very, very
Oh, wow, a number of them. Let me just say one specifically about being a dad. I love the father-son moments, and that those times you're just together, or you're taking a walk on the street or something like that. I mean, it just makes you feel proud. Like, man, that's my son, bro. I mean, it's cool. Right? I enjoy those moments as a father.
What I can say that prepare me for fatherhood is Christ. In the sense that the way I handle the children, the source of funds to train them, and the type of wife I have that give me the necessary support. And being in Christ, we attended some Christian seminars about taking care of the home, taking care of the children, their education and everything. So these are the things that prepared me for fatherhood.
It's a tough question in the sense that I'm not sure anything really prepares you for fatherhood. I mean, like I said, I'm privileged to be in the healthcare line, and even at that, when my daughter is under the weather, it's as if I have little or no knowledge about medicine. So yeah, I don't think anything really prepares you. Of course, for me, for instance, because I kinda assumed the role of a father early in life because I lost my father quite early, but nonetheless, I don't think anything really prepares you for fatherhood. You just of course, there are books to read. Even after reading all of the books, after doing all of the things you are told to do, you still get to that stage and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this little human being? You understand? So I'm not sure if anything really prepares one, but some things help. I mean, all of the experiences you've gathered over time, leadership and all of that, maybe they're going away, but that fatherhood thing will just hit you in a, in a way that you'll be like, what am I doing with this little human being? Yeah.
Well, my knowledge of our Heavenly Father, I believe that is key, that's crucial, that's core, so my preparation for that, I believe understanding God as a father is one thing, and that is helping me in the fatherhood journey. Yes, and me learning from my dad too. Yes, subconsciously. Not, I would not say subconsciously. I remember I would use certain statements, and I'm like, oh, that is the way Daddy would talk about it too when we were young. So, those are my preparations for.
Well, it's kind of linked closely with the question about what I dread the most, and is with respect to the responsibilities associated with fatherhood, because you know, like I said, what you do or what you don't do is it's directly or indirectly affects, this child. And they say that children don't do what you tell them, they do what they see you do. So I mean, it just shows that it's a lot of responsibility, really. And you just have to, it's not even about you maybe doing something just for the sake of the child. It's about you actually doing it and making a lifestyle out of it. If you want your child to be brushing at it twice daily, you have to also develop that habit yourself. If you want your child to be doing certain things, to be reading certain books, you have to, be you have to be the type that read books yourself. So you can't be telling your child to do something and then you are doing opposites. It annoys them. Yeah, so it's a lot, to be honest.
Biggest challenge about being a father would be that I personally see this as a load of responsibility. Graceful, anyway, there's a grace for it, however, but then it's a lot of responsibility. God has given you the charge to nurture, culture, nourish, and care for a set of individuals, and it's a lot of, these guys have their own minds, right? Like they can choose to do what they want to do, but then God has said, or God has given me as a father the power of influence over them, and it's a big and huge word, right? So that's
Finance is a serious one, because the issue of finance delayed so many things when especially having our own baby. By the time we are saving the money, the children will come home, we'll give the money to them. But because we have to believe that when we train the training of the children cannot be delayed, but that of the building can be delayed. Thank God we are able to manage the resources that we had. The children are okay, we are able to train them. At least we are able to have a roof that we put a roof under our head. Yes, we have a roof on our head. It's the ability to study the home, the children. Because one thing I have discovered and I know is that children are not the same. So the way of studying the children in their different ways of life and reactions, that has changed that. Then too, in terms of discipline, by the special grace of God, I happen to be a teacher, and I so much believe in discipline. But the way you discipline your own children will be different the way you discipline students. So I happen to be a top disciplinarian. But being a father, I discovered that everything is not about discipline. Times when you talk to the child, you advise, it goes a long way. So being a father, it reduced my serious disciplinary action. That is, it makes me to move closer to my children, play with them, not being harsh with them.
First, I would say that it had made me, I think, a little bit more observant. I want to believe that, I just realized that I take note of his actions, maybe, I don't know, would I say a little bit more than I would have observed things before? Maybe. I just realized, I'm seeing this pattern. I think I was the first to discover that David is a lefty. Yes, I think I did that before his mom. Like, give me the credits, please. Thank you. I think it had made me a little bit more observant. Then, of course, that made me more responsible. Like, of course, I'm a very responsible man. Yes. But then, I think I've been more. It has conferred on me a greater sense of responsibility. Right. Thank you.
For one, it's gonna change your sleep. It's gonna change the things you call your own, your phone, your gadgets, your space. It's gonna change a lot, really. Yeah. But for me, another thing that really changes about you is the fact that you learn to put others first. Of course, it's probably something you've been doing all your life, but you get to see the real putting other first thing of a thing in when you're a father. At times most dads, you before they even think of getting something for themselves, they would have removed money for my child's childcare, my child's school fees, my child this, all of that, and then the family and all of that, and then you think about yourself last. So it changes a lot about you. Yeah, it changes how you perceive needs and how you prioritize needs, so to speak.
One sentence. You think say fatherhood na beats, or just one sentence? Bishop Ego was asked about ministry, that someone asked him to tell the secret of ministry in a nutshell. He said there are so many nutshells about this. About fatherhood too, there are so many nutshells. But okay, let me just try. Fatherhood in one sentence would mean responsibility. It would mean being exemplary. It would mean being loving and leading. In one sentence, yes. That's what fatherhood entails. That you love, you lead.
Sentence. Okay, sentence is made up of many words. All right. So, fatherhood. It's challenging. It's a challenging responsibility, and it is rewarding. Yeah, that's how I would describe it.
Yes, fatherhood is the act of being a father, and when you are a father, you are the head of the home. You take care of the home in terms of feeding, education, training them in the way of the Lord, and praying for them.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room. And damn, what a hell of a view. I feel good, you look great.